Okay, let's decode this. Number 1. Disenfranchised grief. You know that weird emptiness that hits at 2 p.m. on a random Tuesday? When life isn't falling apart, but somehow still doesn't feel, right? That hollow buzz in your chest that makes everything feel flat, even when you're doing okay on paper. Turns out, that's not just you being ungrateful or lazy. That's an emotion, a real one. It has a name, and most people have never heard of it. It's called disenfranchised grief. Grief you're not allowed to feel because no one recognizes it as real. You're not mourning a death. You're grieving something invisible, the dreams you dropped quietly, the version of yourself you never became, the friends who drifted, the time you'll never get back. And because nobody talks about this, the grief just lingers. It doesn't scream. It hums. A low, constant ache that makes adulthood feel like a muted movie. We'll break it down, because once you understand what you're feeling, it hits completely different. Number 2, ritual decay. Remember how childhood had milestones? First bike, first crush, last day of school. Every step came with a celebration, like life was a video game and you kept leveling up. Then adulthood hits and suddenly nothing. You get a job, a new apartment. You hit life's big moments, but they're just items on a checklist now. No confetti, no reset button, just emails and rent and maybe cake if you're lucky. Psychologists call this ritual decay, when emotional guideposts that used to mark your life disappear. Without rituals, every year feels the same. There's no ceremony, just survival. And it matters more than we realize. Rituals create meaning. They make transitions feel real. Without them, everything blends together, and your brain quietly panics like, wait, are we even moving forward? That's part of why adulthood feels empty. You didn't stop growing. You just stopped noticing. Number 3, role confusion. Here's the wild part. Your entire identity was built for a game that no longer exists. For 20-plus years, life had rules. Do your homework, follow the syllabus, get gold stars. School trained you to be evaluated constantly and to see progress in grades, trophies, or applause. Then you graduate, and the scoreboard vanishes. Now what? There's no A+ in laundry. No rubric for friendships. No teacher to tell you if you're doing life correctly. Just silence. This is called role confusion, a psychological limbo where you're still wired to chase external validation in a world that stopped giving it. So you keep grinding, hoping someone will notice. But no one's watching, and the applause never comes. And that disconnect? It's exhausting. You're trying to win a game that ended years ago, with rules no one explains and no prize at the end. No wonder you feel stuck. Number 4, identity grief. Sometimes the grief isn't about what you lost. It's about who you lost. See, growing up isn't just adding layers. It's trading parts of yourself to survive. The version of you who loved drawing, gone after bills piled up. The one who dreamed big, silenced by practicality. The curious kid, replaced by a burned-out adult with 37 browser tabs open. We don't mourn these changes because we're taught they're mature. But deep down, you remember. You miss the person you were before life shaped you into who it needed. That ache, that's grief. And it doesn't go away because there's no funeral for a version of yourself. Just quiet compromises stacked year after year. Until one day you wake up and wonder, whose life is this? This is identity grief. It's subtle, invisible, but it's real. And if you felt it, you're not broken, you're just human. Number 5, ambiguous loss. You can grieve something even if it never existed. Sounds weird, but it's a real psychological concept. Ambiguous loss. It's what happens when you're mourning something vague, like the future you wanted but didn't get. Maybe it was the career you almost had, the relationship that never happened. The version of life that felt so close, but slipped away without a goodbye. There's no closure, no moment to say, okay, that dream is done. Just a low-grade sadness that pops up when you're scrolling social media or lying in bed at night. Ambiguous loss is slippery. Because nothing technically happened, people around you don't get it. They tell you to move on, but you were never stuck. You were grieving. This kind of grief hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as apathy, restlessness, or anxiety. But at the core is something heartbreakingly simple. You're sad for the version of your life that never had a chance. Number 6, purpose drift. At some point, life quietly shifts from seeking meaning to just trying to get through the day. You don't even notice it. One day you're chasing purpose. The next you're just managing back pain, deadlines, and the mystery of what you last ate. This is called purpose drift, when your daily actions no longer connect to a bigger why. You're busy all the time, but it feels like treading water. You're not failing. You're just unmoored. Our brains are wired for story, for narrative arcs, for meaning. But modern adulthood flattens everything into endless to-do lists. Pay bills, answer emails, repeat, and it wears you down. Because deep down, you want life to mean something. But when every day looks the same, the story gets lost. That numbness? It's not laziness. It's your brain going, why are we doing this? Without a why, your energy leaks out of you. One calendar reminder at a time. Number 7, connection starvation. You don't need a tragic backstory to feel lonely. Just adulthood. Friendships fade. Group chats go silent. You move cities. You get busy. Everyone does. And slowly, invisibly, your circle shrinks. Not from drama, but from logistics. And suddenly, you're starving for connection in a world that keeps telling you to hustle harder. This isn't burnout. This is connection starvation, a deep biological ache for real belonging. Humans evolved in tribes, in shared meals, in unspoken eye contact. But modern life replaced all that with scheduled check-ins, heart emojis, and we should hang out sometime. You don't notice how bad it is until one bad day hits and you realize you don't know who to call. Loneliness doesn't always feel like sadness. Sometimes it looks like overworking, or scrolling, or sleeping too much. Your brain's trying to self-soothe because it's touch-starved, voice-starved, scene-starved. Adulthood makes connection optional, but your brain never agreed to that. Number 8, hedonic adaptation. Here's a weird one. You're grieving the loss of wonder. As a kid, the world was full of firsts. First snow, first airplane ride, first time seeing fireworks. But as an adult, most of life is reruns. Same grocery store, same morning, same tired stories in different fonts. Your brain adapts fast, maybe too fast. It starts filtering out known things to save energy. That's great for efficiency, terrible for joy. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. The more you experience something, the less it excites you. Even good stuff, even the things you used to dream about. So you feel flat, not because your life sucks, but because novelty faded. And without novelty, your brain can't spark delight the way it used to. It's not just nostalgia. It's a real, biological craving for awe, for surprise, for aliveness. And when your days start blurring together, your brain quietly grieves. Not for something you lost, but for how it used to feel to be alive. That's the final grief. Number 9, final reflection. So if adulthood feels heavy, empty, or just quietly off, it might not be failure. It might be grief. Not dramatic, movie-ending grief, but the silent kind. The kind no one names. The kind that comes from growing up and realizing what growing up actually costs. We lost things we never thought to grieve. Freedom, spontaneity, first connection, imagination, potential. And because no one told us it was okay to mourn that stuff, we just swallowed the ache and called it being tired. But naming it helps. Because grief, when unnamed, festers. But grief, when acknowledged, moves. You're not broken for feeling empty. You're human. You're adapting. You're mourning. And maybe, just maybe, that quiet ache isn't a flaw in your life. It's proof you're still awake inside it. All right, that's the real talk for today. What were your biggest takeaways? Let me know in the comments below. If you dug this video, a like would be awesome, and subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. See you then.